Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Joni.
What is going on, people?
And Wolfie.
Oh, everybody.
And today, we're joined by two very special guests we've had on the show before. They're awesome.
They're family members.
Exactly, they're family members. We have Kristi Ray and Erika Edwards from Honeyhead Films. How you doing, guys?
We're doing so well. We're really happy to see you. We haven't had a chance to say hello, so we're really...
Yeah, I know. It was very last... Yeah.
Sorry we were a little bit late.
That's okay. That's okay. It's on a timer thing, so we don't want to be too late because then it'll kick us out. But anyways, thank you very much for coming on, and you have some news to share about about the film Lorelei you guys have been working on for a while now. I think the last time we had you on, you guys were in the process of working on it as well. So where are you at in the process with Lorelei?
We've been in development. We were actually working on a timeline today. Eric and I are both keeping office hours for the film. We're here in our little office in Wilmington, North Carolina today. And we're talking about how long it's been since we started the process of development. And I think officially it was like April or March of 2019. So it's been a really long, slow, nicely paced development season, and we're moving into pitching in the new year in 2021. So it's exciting to come on and chat with you guys about where we're at with the movie and what we've done in the past year, and kind of catch everybody up on what's happening.
It's exciting. It's moving really fast now. It feels like we're really in it. We're in the machine right now.
So how is Honeyhead Films doing as a business entity?
Wolfie, it's going great. Honestly, we had like breakthrough moments today. Every day has been awesome. This year, 2020 has been full of surprises.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about like what the pandemic did to our company in a positive way, and all the things that have happened since then?
I think we, like a lot of people, were on this grind with because we do a lot more than strictly narrative work. We shoot music videos, we shoot marketing content for clients. So we were just kind of on a roll with all of these projects, and still our dreams of our feature film were still there, but they were sort of definitely riding in the back seat. And when everything came screeching to a halt at the beginning of this year, it really forced us to kind of take a step back, and we had time to really sit down and finish conceptualizing the whole feature, which gave me time to sit down and actually finish writing it. So it definitely went in stages. There was one point where it hung out at around like 25 pages. It kind of like hit a little block, like a creative block, and like had to walk away from it for a couple weeks and then come back to it. But all throughout that time, we were able to make time to sit down and like spend a whole week just in the writing room. And I don't think on a normal working schedule for Honeyhead that would have really worked out for us. From a practical standpoint, a lot of our shoots, it's just Kristi and I. So we were kind of able to adapt to new COVID safety rules and things like that, as far as minimizing people on set pretty easily. And that kind of worked into our flow pretty well. So we weren't, we didn't have to adjust too much in that regard. We're pretty scrappy.
I feel like since the last time we were on with the guys, it's been taking the idea of our short film, which we shot in 2017 and conceptualized back in 2015. And And translating that to a feature-length movie is a lot more involved than we probably imagined. Like diving into all of this when we thought, you know, we're gonna expand our feature film or our short film and make it into a feature. It's great to have an idea and then realizing all of the parts that go into it and all the people that you need to really make something like that happen. Eric and I both come from just an acting background. For anybody that's just tuning in and has no idea who we are.
Yeah.
You know, we've been acting like the majority of our lives, and we both met as actors several years ago and developed an autonomy over the kind of stories that we wanted to tell as creative filmmakers, and have kind of evolved our career in a way to be these self-made artists so that we can tell the kind of stories on screen that we're passionate about telling. And so all that to say, you can't really make a feature film with just 2 people. You can definitely make a music video with 2 or 3 or 4, you know, some commercials and short films and things like that. But we've had to assemble a really big team around our project. And that's what since COVID happened, basically all we've been doing is finding kindred spirits to bring into the circle, the inner circle of Lorelei, and help create this vision. Erika's the writer-director of the movie, and I'm the producer and the lead actress in the film. And it's different than the short film. I don't remember, honestly, guys, if we screened it with you.
I don't think we
talked about. Yeah, it's a little dated in a way, so we don't really pass around the original short film so much anymore.
It's more of the short, because we have our own proof of concept trailer that was shot with the cinematographer we're going to be working with, and at the location that we're going to be using, one of the primary locations, and aesthetically it feels the way the feature will. So we have that to kind of stand as the proof of concept for the feature. And we
shared some stills with them, so they'll be able to.
Yeah. I was going to say, the one thing, like looking through the stills there, everything looks great. So
it does look great.
Yeah, that's the one thing. So the way that we became friends with Kristi was from Pieces of Talent, which was a beautifully shot film as well, and it also took a very long time to get made. So it's kind of worth the wait, you know. If it's something is going to be like that quality, it's totally worth the wait, you know.
Anything, and that's something we've learned. Anything that's taken years and years of development is always going to be, it's going to be worth it in the end, and it's going to be something that we're really proud of. And I think that every day we're learning, which makes it even more of a better experience. We're doing tons of research. I never really thought. Today in the office, we're like writing our pitch deck and our business plan, and we're just over here thinking like, this feels like we're in college and we're writing our thesis paper right now, trying to absorb all of this information about how to pitch to these high-level investors. And I mean, just being vulnerable with all of you right now, it's a lot. It's a lot different than just being strictly a creative person. So that's kind of the new hat we're putting on, you know, not just actor, producer, writer, director, creative. We do all of that with our eyes closed, but the business side of it is really challenging, but it definitely makes it feel exciting and like we deserve what's coming to us. We definitely earned it because we've been working really hard at it. So,
well, after we had them on after we had Kristi on for Pieces of Talent, she came back with Erika with her nun, the nun's curse.
Yeah, nun's curse. Yeah, we've had a couple people on for that, and then we finally were able to see it, and so we were excited for it because we're cool with a bunch of people in the movie. So it was like, hey, these friends and these friends are meeting up and they're doing a movie together. So what was that experience like?
Smaller. It's like this indie film community is tighter and tighter and smaller. Every time we work on a project together, it's so apparent how just tight-knit the whole world gets. I think it's really fun. Did you guys all love the movie? What did you think of A Nun's Curse?
I liked it. It's obviously lower budget. But it
started in 9 days. So it's like
9 days.
That into consideration.
Wow.
We were in budget. It was 9 days, right?
I think so.
Erika turned 8 on that side.
My age, do that.
Have it. Like
there's a great photo of me on set with it was actually right before I had to spoiler. Well, might give us think so. Yeah.
You try to do.
It was right before I had to, like, you know, thinking I was killing the nun, kill myself, and that we shot that scene on like the dying scene, like on my birthday, and so like off screen there's a great BTS photo. I'm like in the habit with like a bottle of champagne that I like have in front of the camera, and I'm like dying. You know what I mean? It was pretty funny. It was a great birthday.
There's a really fun Easter egg that is actually going to connect these two projects together.
Really?
That our sweet friend Tommy Faircloth, who we adore and love so much, the director and writer of A Nun's Curse and also Family Possessions, which Erika starred in before A Nun's Curse. And you guys know him through other movies as well.
Yeah.
He approached Erika and I. He runs a film festival in South Carolina called the South Carolina Underground Film Festival. SCUF is the acronym.
Right.
And he actually asked to program our short film Lorelei several years ago. I think it was 2018. And he said, I'm looking for like more indie grit kind of narrative films. Will you submit Lorelei? And we're like, of course. You know, it's been out of the festival run for a year, but anything for you, Tommy. Here's our movie. So he plays it at his festival. And a couple months later, he called Erika and he said, you know, I've got this movie. There's these two sisters in it. And I just keep thinking about Lorelei. I keep thinking about your short film where you two played sisters. And I really want you to be in the movie. Like, would you play sisters together? It's this movie. These people travel to this like haunted jail and there's a nun and there's all these things and la la la. Felissa Rose is going to be in it. What do you think? And Erika, she literally, all she did was just text me. So Tommy Faircloth saw Lorelei and he wants us to play sisters in his new movie and it stars Felissa Rose. Like, what do you think? And I was like, yeah, I'll never say no to that. Like, of course. I hadn't read the script, nothing. I just like agreed over a text message via Erika from Tommy. And that's how that movie came to be. I don't think we got the script until like a few months before production. And it was so fun to just go out to this random town in South Carolina and be in this weird jail with Tommy and Damien. And Gunnar is so amazing. He's Gunnar. So fun. And Tony Rosen, who worked on Pieces of Talent, and a couple, there was honestly like 4 crew members in that movie. Like when you say low budget, that was it. It was like bare bones. Just us making this movie. It was like Tracy,
the basement guy. Of the jail.
I mean, Robbie was like the sound guy. Yeah, I mean, it was small. It was really small. They made it happen, and it was really cool to see like the following that Tommy has, and that the product. He knew exactly what he wanted coming in. He knows he's like shooting for the edit. He's an interesting person to work with, and we just love him. He's so much fun. So no matter what, we're always going to say yes to Tommy. He's just such a dear. And obviously working with Felissa was really fun. There's like one restaurant in that whole town. We would go out to this like Mexican restaurant.
Actually really good.
In Orangeburg and just hang out. But it was shot in 9 days. I never thought you could make a movie in 9 days.
Yeah, we see it a lot. I mean, there's some directors have it like they have like a method down, but they're also like they're just fun like slasher movies or whatever. Like there's a difference. Like I'm a fan of everything, but at the same time too, there's like different camps, I guess, you know?
Definitely. That's a really good point. And something to know about Lorelei is it's in a really different camp than A Nun's Curse. And it's not that it's any better in a certain way. It's just going to take a lot more time and a lot more thought to get it developed and funded because it's just for a different audience. And it's really special that you guys have invited us on to talk about our movie since it has A, nothing to do with horror. B is like nothing like A Nun's Curse or Pieces of Talent. I'd say it like leans more itself to the Pieces of Talent genre in that the cinematography and the pacing and the edit and the character-driven kind of like gritty. Visceral.
I mean, I love that stuff. So like that's the thing is I love like a quick watch that's just like, oh, this is gory, but I also like to care about a character and care about what's going to happen to him, and you know, just like good. I'm glad it happened to that person or whatever, you know. So you're talking about funding and stuff. Are you just looking for investors, or are you gonna be doing like Indiegogo campaigns, or how are you gonna? What's the plan?
We've had several people honestly ask us already about crowdfunding, and that is not where we're trying to begin this journey. I think Eric and I have both decided that we will be sourcing a bit of the production budget from our grassroots movement, because we do have a lot of we have a built-in audience as Honeyhead through different ventures, but also just in what we've been doing for the last 4 years. We have a lot of people who care a lot about the films that we're making and the movement that we've created around females in cinema, and just giving voice to women in general in the industry. So we're going to be sourcing some seed money from some sort of kind of probably private funding, not necessarily crowdsourcing. And primarily we're targeting some venture capitalist investors, because our budget will be on the higher end, where I think that we've become very exhausted very quickly with the crowdsourcing campaign. So we have been basically going to business school together here in Florida, trying to figure out all these things. Hopefully these business people aren't watching this video and they don't know that we're really reading a lot of books and like things about it. But we're feeling really confident moving into the pitching session that we'll be able to source a portion of the budget from our crowdfunding kind of grassroots movement, and then look for the really big bucks elsewhere, where people are going to be looking for a return on investment once the film is sold and distributed.
Nice.
So we have,
And the problem with like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whatever you want to go through is you ask for a set amount of money, and if you get it, you're stuck with this little nest egg where you could do a nice movie for about $8,000 to $15,000, or whatever. But if you get the right amount of money, you could do a really nice movie. And you're not limited.
And plus, there's a lot of, I mean, we've heard it from people going all the way back to Joe with Pieces of Town, where it's like another full-time job tacked onto it. Like there's so many directors are just like, it's a lot of work. Like you're spending all day answering emails because people are mad that they didn't get their perk or whatever.
Or just being the social media machine and trying to drive all of that.
Concentrate on making the movie.
So,
then you're gonna make a movie on top of it.
With the grassroots, I think we're not going to be looking for people that are asking for perks or anything. It's more just like people asking to be involved in some way. And if you want to be involved, like here's a private link to a way that you can become involved. And we're not trying to blast this out to the masses. It's definitely going to be kept under wraps in a private venture until we're ready to release it to the public. And that's not something we've ever done before. Eric and I are really scrappy filmmakers who generally do things like really under budget, and we just find the easiest, most beautiful way to make something happen. So this is the first time we've really had a big ask from people, which is scary and exciting, but I think we're both feeling really confident, especially after all of our research and our kind of market comparisons and things, and putting words to the feelings that we're feeling about what the movie's about. I don't know if you guys know much based on.
There's the question. There's the question. Could you give it away? I mean, could you give us a quick synopsis without giving too much away of the movie?
Absolutely. I think I'll let Erika do that because she is the writer of the film, and we're working on coming up with like a pretty vague synopsis. It doesn't give away too much. We obviously, Wolfie, want you to watch the film and be surprised.
Kristi, I'm going to watch it no matter what because you and Eric are in it.
Well, before getting into it, you were talking about, even before how the indie film community is, getting smaller and smaller but also with the indie film community, the fans are the same way. So you probably have a big niche of fans that no matter what you do, they're going to support you, both of you. So when it does go to that grassroots and you're like, if anybody wants to support this film, I think you'll find a lot more people than you think because, I've been following you from Piece of, I started The Dorkening because of Piece of Talent. I saw that, the interview. So I've become a fan from that. So everything you've done so far, I've watched. So it's one of those things where, you know, as small as indie film is, it's got that group of people. Like horror fans are one group of people, but I think indie horror as well is its own niche where it's like you follow, you know, they might not be, you know, everybody knows like your name, but the people that do care about you that much that they're like, you know what, you know, anybody want to donate to this film? I think it would be that much easier.
I think the fact that what you said is so sweet, Tony, that it crosses genres. You know, it's not a horror film. Sorry guys, it really isn't. Lorelei won't be a horror film. I don't think there's any murder. Like there's no blood. Nothing really happens that's scary.
Fine with me. I mean,
yeah.
I watch. I mean, yeah, I'm a supporter of.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I like when I'm a fan of somebody, I support them for whatever. Like I told you, like years ago, I'm like when I see that you're doing something, I feel proud. I'm like, that's right. You go do that. Like you're killing it. Like it's like I'll tell people like I know her. Yep. She's awesome.
I mean, it's no lie. You are family. I mean, so we're gonna support our family no matter what.
As long as we're in the will, that's all, right?
Well, there is a will in the movie. We can talk a little bit about that.
We just gave that away. Sorry, guys. So yeah, do you want to do a quick synopsis? Yeah.
Yeah. So the film takes place in southeastern North Carolina, and it follows the protagonist played by Kristi. Her name's Carla, and she was the same character she was in the short film. But the circumstances of the short film are about 3/4 of the way through the feature. So the feature actually takes the story far back in just the lifespan, not really lifespan, in like a week, honestly, of this character's life. And we start off getting to know her. She's in an emotionally abusive relationship with her partner. And she finds out at the very beginning of the film that she is pregnant. So she takes a pregnancy test in this kind of grungy gas station bathroom. It's a pretty kind of intimate and visceral scene. We kind of envision it as this like cold open, and it's like her feet are under this stall and nasty floor, and like the pregnancy test falls on the floor, and we're like, what's going on right now? You know, so it starts off already in this kind of visceral, intimate way. And so that's kind of the nature of the film is we're not kind of glossing over any of these issues that the character is presented with in the film. And so we basically go back to the home of Carla and her partner, Alex, and we see him and her interacting, and we kind of get a sense of their relationship, and he's not very kind to her. He's pretty controlling. He has financial control over her. He's emotionally abusive. And Carla gets a call that her mom has been put in the hospital, which causes her to go back to her hometown and be with her mom while she's trying to recover from one of the many cardiac incidents she has because she doesn't take good care of herself. So through that process, we don't spend a lot of time with mom. She ends up passing on very early in the film. And then Carla's estranged sister, Janelle, comes back home to help manage the estate after the mother passes away. And that's kind of where the film really takes off. And it becomes this sister story. And we learn more about Carla and her dreams of, she has this wanderlust spirit. She wants to go out and see the world, and she's always just been stuck. And that's kind of what we're exploring in the film, is the ways that people get trapped in these environments that they create for themselves, or the things that society has kind of left them with. And like they've been forgotten in these kind of drive-by towns where no one really goes, no one really thinks about them. And yet people are there trying to live and exist. And we really wanted to shine a light on North Carolina film and Southern film and show Southern characters on screen that were real people, and they weren't caricatures like the way that so often people in the South, you know, come in and it's like Dukes of Hazzard is going on. And it's just like people in the South are so much more authentic than that. And that's what we really wanted
the flannel, the Daisy Dukes.
Yeah. We just really wanted to see her character arc and her journey as a person, and trying to decide if she's going to leave this person that she is afraid of, but also loves. There's still this like complicated, complex relationship with her and her boyfriend. And so it's, we are exploring that and the relationship with the sister and all of that, and her kind of deciding whether or not she's ready to be a mother, and all of these issues that are kind of circulating. And it's really still sort of a quiet film, and it's character driven. And
I think something fun you didn't mention yet is that her sister Janelle has a young son. His name is Noah, and he's 5 years old. The boy who played him in the proof of concept, which isn't quite finished. We can't screen it tonight, but we have some stills to show. Yep. He was 4, and he was amazing. Yeah. And he's from Eastern North Carolina. He was just an incredible little boy named Jaden. But
so you get these like nice, this Janelle, Carla's younger sister with her son, is kind of this interesting mirror for Carla to see what her life as a mother could be, and that it is in fact possible for her to raise a child on her own and to have dreams of that.
She begins to kind of develop these ideas of independence and this thought. She's removed herself. You know, I don't know if any of you have ever lost a parent or even a grandparent, but
well, no, not really. I mean, my wife's grandparents. Both my grandparents were gone. All my grandparents were gone before I was even born. So
yeah.
I lost a son. I mean. So.
Wow. So you understand that kind of like you remove yourself completely from the world for a while. You're dealing with, you know, legal issues and personal issues and emotional issues. And it's kind of like you're isolated in this loss in a way. And both of us we kind of pulled from not losing parents, but losing grandparents when writing the story, and kind of pulling these personal experiences. You're just in this bubble. It's like you can't permeate it with the outside world. And so the film, a lot of the plot takes place in that bubble where they're living in this existence that feels almost not real in a way. And so Carla begins to kind of process her thoughts about what it might feel like to become a mother. I have personal feelings of how she feels when she first reads the pregnancy test, but maybe the audience thinks differently. You know, you're not really sure if you're reading for her, if she wants this, if she doesn't. But seeing her sister be a mother for the first time, it's a surprise to her when she reunites with her sister. She doesn't really know that she has a nephew. So there's a lot of like fun kind of subtleties that come out in the stillness of Lorelei that are just watching these two women navigate real life as it's happening in real time, and tragedy and all of that. But it's not really a super sad plot in that way. Janelle is a really fun character, and there's a lot that happens that adds to these levels of complexity. And eventually Alex does return, and we won't tell you what happens at the end. You'll need to, you know, wait around and watch until we finish. But there's a lot of subtleties that are dealt with in the film that we want to explore and just give voice to the character of Carla and what she means for all women, or particularly women that can relate to her in ways where we feel that there's a big gap in the market and movies in general in cinema that just don't address these kind of things that Carla's going through, or Janelle, or characters like Alex. They're not really talked about very much, and we haven't been able to pinpoint or find movies that are set in the South that feel similar to this in a way. So it makes us feel really confident in making this movie, because I think that it's a story that needs to be told and explored.
Well, I want to see it.
Plus, I think it's one of those things where I think nowadays these studios think, well, I can't talk for the studios, but a lot of them seems like it.
It's okay, Tony. Like, we say stuff like this.
But it's one of those things where it's like with studios, they think people want the over, you know, the big explosions and this and that. I think a lot of people enjoy, well, maybe not enjoy or feel differently when it's a movie that they can, you know, relate to. When it's one of those things where the plot isn't far-fetched, where it's like, oh, this could never happen ever, and it could really, you know, hit home with people where, you know, they might be in a situation somewhat like this, and, you know, especially if the story has a happy ending, or not even a happy ending, but an ending where there's a light at the end of the tunnel kind of deal. It's one of those things where I think a lot more people would relate and like it. I mean, I see myself, I'm a horror fan number one, but I like the coming of age movies and stuff like that right under, because it's like it's not every movie I've seen like that have I related to, but there's some it's like, okay, I see myself in this character and see how they, if I'm having a bad time or bad day or something, I watch a movie that brighten up my spirit. So I think you said there's not a lot of movies like that. I agree with you, because it just seems like everything needs to be an explosion or something so far-fetched that I'm like, I like character development, but I don't see myself in any of these characters. So
I don't know if you see yourself in Lorelei either.
Well, how do you know?
Well,
no, I'm only kidding.
I just want to use Tony in our pitch here because our target demographic is definitely not Tony has 9 fingers. I'll just say that. It's like women in the South and like totally not Tony.
Hey, listen, sometimes, I'm upset. I'm sitting there with some ice cream.
It's like Erika was rambling and I was trying to like type out everything she's saying. And she was like, Megan Fox had her heyday, the explosions and all of the short shorts and all the stuff. And it's like, people just want to feel themselves. She was saying everything Tony just said like an hour and a half ago in the office. I'm so happy to hear you say that, Tony. I'm literally beaming. It brings so much joy to me because it transcends genre. It really does. And it's not just us being like dreamy filmmakers. It's true. People want to see themselves on screen. You want to have a cathartic experience with these characters. You want to deal with your own personal issues. Even if you can't directly relate, you want to know that other people out there in the world are dealing with this.
Well, thank you, Sergio.
Sergio said, actually earlier on too, Sergio wanted to say hi to.
I've said it.
Awesome.
I've said it a million times. It's like I'm a Tony. It's like I'm a big horror fan, number one. But if you have a great story, then I'm there. I mean, a character-driven movie is. I love horror, but it's not the only thing I love. I love watching like tons of drama, And if the drama is good and the drama is right, then I'm there for you. I'm gonna follow it all the way. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you young ladies are like into like the movies from the 40s or 50s or stuff like that. Like the old Casablanca, stuff like that. I mean, that's what I was raised on.
That's because you were around when it was made.
There it is.
Anyways, before we just go off the rails a little too much, let's I can pull up the images you sent.
Yeah, do that.
Maybe go through and talk about are the people that are in the proof of concept are all of them or a majority of them going to be in the feature when it gets funded, or is it whole new casting and everything?
We're casting a few of the roles. So the actor playing Alex, Hayden Winston, is cast. He is locked.
That's the male that you'll see, the only boy.
But we are actively casting the role of Janelle, so Carla's sister, and then the mother, Sandra. We're still actively casting those roles, and Noah, the young boy. So we can talk a little bit about the casting process of the proof of concept trailer. It was really fun. We produced this woman you're seeing right now. Her name is Celeste Marcone, and we produced this. Stills that you're seeing here are from our proof of concept, which we shot in late October in North Carolina. And it's about a week away from being locked. I don't know if we're going to release it publicly. So you guys are seeing exclusive stills right now that have probably really been released to the public, which is really exciting.
And for those of people, because this is going to go up on the audio side as well. So definitely head over and check us out on Facebook and on YouTube. You can see the stills there. And have you released the stills on your the Honeyhead Films social media at all? Or?
There is an Instagram page specifically for Lorelei that's called, it's just at Lorelei Film, where some of these stills have been released, but several of them, I think Kevin, I pulled all of them that have been colored, and I think maybe 7 have been released, and you have 21 or 2 of them. So we're just giving you the whole slew of them right now.
So this first one, would you say her name was?
Her name is Celeste Marcone, and she plays in the proof of concept trailer. She plays my mother, Sandra. What's really fun about Celeste is that she's played my mom in a movie called Epiphany Road, which is a horror film that is still in post-production right now, that we shot in North Carolina. And when she submitted to audition for the role, I was like, Erika, she already played my mom in something else. She's really amazing. We played these she had a great read, badass bounty hunters together that are like living in the mountains of North Carolina. So I knew she had the Southern thing under wraps. And she submitted a tape for Erika to review, and we both really liked her for the part. She did a great job. She came down from Charlotte and drove up to Wilmington, and we only had her on set for maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
She's in 2 scenes in the proof of concept.
So Kristi has a role in the film. Erika, what about yourself?
I'm just going to be directing. So I was in the short film.
Directing. No big deal.
Yeah, I played Janelle in the short film, but really just wanted to focus on directing for this run, just because I think, and I felt like there was just also just thinking about myself. I knew that there was a person out there that was Janelle, and I knew I wasn't her. Yes, like still, maybe I was at one point when we did the short film and we wanted to play sisters, but I just knew writing the character for the feature that it wasn't me. And so I think that
Erika does a really good job of writing for specific people. It's something that she's just like, it's like a gift that she has. For instance, our friend Victor, she wrote him this very small cameo role in the film.
We have a dear friend who's a successful actor in Atlanta. He was just in, what was the film just in with Woody Harrelson?
Zombieland.
He was in Zombieland. And he's quite funny, and he always just finds his way into every script. And it's like he's driving this like ancient, Dodge minivan that's like purple, and he's like cabbing Carla from the hospital to her mom's house. And I was just there writing, and I was like, well, if she's gonna take some kind of a local cab to get there, there has to be someone driving. Now, who is that? And as I was writing it, I was like, oh, it's Victor. Like, the voice just came out, and I was like, who could ramble about the original trilogy Star Wars for a whole driving scene, and just kind of do it well. And I was like, that's Victor.
He's like a Zach Galifianakis type. He's got this huge beard and this big hair, and he's just so amazing. And she just does really well writing for a specific person. And when we were writing the feature film, we knew that Hayden would be playing Alex as well. So writing that part for him was really fun.
Nice.
And the character of Janelle, who you're looking at now, that's me on the right. And then my sister is in the proof of concept trailer. She's played by a local actress named Mackenzie Barwick, who did an amazing job. She's actually actively auditioning for the role right now, so we shouldn't talk too much about her, but she did a really good job. Having never been in a film before, she's only done theater.
Oh, really?
We were really impressed with her. And she lives in Southport, so she's about 45 minutes from Wilmington. Mm-hmm. We had a couple callback sessions with her, and it was really wonderful. And this is a scene we shot at a place called Eagle Island. It's a little offbeat kind of grocery area near Wilmington, and that's Hayden, who plays Alex with me.
Now you're walking away. Same thing.
Walking away.
It's a joke.
And I having a little sister moment. After they kind of reconnect, there's a lot of fun times that are to be had between the two, kind of revisiting their childhood a little bit. There's some serious things they're dealing with. Obviously, we're talking about you guys being in the will and all of that, but they're settling the estate of their mother. So
this is the first scene when Janelle first comes back, and they see each other for the first time, because when Janelle comes home, she doesn't actually know Carla's there. So they have this kind of chance encounter in the house where they're facing off.
What happens?
Janelle comes the scene. I like to work some bits of physicality into things that can be funny and just fun for the audience to watch. But So the way that Janelle, she has lost her key when she shows up to the house. So she has to go around back through all the weeds and like pull herself up through the kitchen window. She like slides it up and has to like crawl through the window.
Mm-hmm.
And Carla, unknowing that her sister, her estranged sister, is coming, thinks like someone is here to break in the house. She's like been alone in the house for 3 days since mom died. And it's like, she looks around for something to defend herself with, and all she can find is a wine key and like the bedside table. So she's like walking down the hall thinking she's going to have to like come to face with someone with like a wine key knuckle, you know, and then she's like comes face to face with her sister in the kitchen.
She hasn't seen in 5 years, you know,
Yeah.
and she has a child, and it's like, what are you doing here? You know,
So-
like they have this whole moment of like, I didn't know you'd be here. Like I called you. No, you didn't. I don't have that number.
It's a moment of levity, because before that we've been in some kind of really sort of morose vignettes with Carla after her mom has died, where she's just alone at the house trying to call banks and do all of this stuff. She's just there by herself. So it's kind of a little bit of a comic relief and a breather for the audience, so that it's not like so heavy.
Yeah.
There's Hayden again. He's great. He's
so
incredible.
wonderful as Alex.
He's gonna be this role in the feature.
Yeah, his role is locked. I can imagine shooting this.
We cast him before the
movie.
feature was even
Oh
done.
yeah, he was kind of, interestingly enough, Erika and I were out in Colorado shooting another proof of concept with a friend of ours. We were helping to produce for his feature film called Eye for an Eye, and that's when I met Hayden. I think Erika had known him briefly before that. He played a villain in this kind of bank robbery type movie that was set in the 80s. It's based on a true story, and he did a phenomenal job. We spent like 3 or 4 days with him out in Colorado. Where were we? Canyon City, Colorado, shooting this really cool project. And Erika and I are like driving back to Denver to fly back to North Carolina, talking about this whole experience and realizing like Hayden was the guy. He was the person we needed to wrap our brains around, creating this narrative of who Alex is and the subtleties of like this emotional abuse, because Hayden is actually a very kind and charming human who plays these in a similar way to David Long, where you like love to hate him and you love him and you like want to have him over for Thanksgiving, but
then you want him to leave right away.
That
complexity and nuance.
Complexity is what's important with Alex. So Hayden is very talented in that way. A character trope that we sort of base this Alex type on is Erika could go on and on about him. Do you guys know or like James Badgedale?
I don't know who that is. I don't think anyone does.
Educate the men. Tell them.
He's a great actor.
Look him up, guys. He's on Hightown. Watch that on Stars Network.
He plays a lot of
He's in what on Stars?
He's
Hightown. It's actually shooting in Wilmington right now. So he shoots across the street from my house every other week or whatever, which is cool. But it's a great show. Anyway, he plays like the charming fuck up really well.
Yeah, like he does a really good job playing these kind of very, very dark characters who you just want to, but you like them because they're charming, but they have a lot of darkness to them. And so you want them to do better, but they just can't. And that's something that I feel like James Badgedale does a really good job of in a lot of the films. There's an indie film that I saw at the Denver Film Festival in 2019 called Mickey and the Bear. And it's about a teenage daughter who's about to graduate from high school, and she's having to decide whether or not to leave and basically abandon her dad, who's a vet, and he's addicted to opiates, and and James Badgedale plays the father, and he just does a really good job. He's very scary, but you like him. It's really an interesting dynamic, and
it's not his fault. It's like he can't help
it's not his fault. Yeah, but he's also just like
awful,
scary. I mean, he's like really scary.
It's crazy.
To watch.
These complexities are so real, and we wanted Alex to feel that hard to understand, because to be very vulnerable and honest, both Erika and I have had similar experiences as Carla in the film, and the way that she deals with this relationship. It's like an expression of where we have been as women and wanting and knowing, being aware that other people have been through this, wanting to explore that and what that looks like on camera. The more we share the plot with people, or the proof of concept trailer, or even the feature script, they always come back and say like, wow, I have an Alex, or I had an Alex. I understand this wholeheartedly. I've never seen this in a film. Like, I know what you're talking about. And this kind of realization that this is really common, and it's not something that like just she and I have just hushed away and kind of like pushed to the side. Even though we're in very like loving and supportive and wonderful relationships now, it's still a part of our lives and something we've been through. And we're lucky enough to be able to like have broken free from it. It's cathartic and important to be able to process it, I think, for other people too, and start a conversation about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So we can go back. Let me see if there's anything else. There's so this is the kid. You said he's 4 years old.
Yeah. No, this kid was so funny. Jaden, he was so fun to work with, and he I don't know. He was just like, that was, I mean, it was his first time on a set too, and he just
There's another one that's come with a gun.
Soda. There he is drinking orange soda.
One with him and a gun, though. I remember.
Yeah, he brought to set. He brought like all these toys and things. His parents were awesome.
Yeah.
And man, it was raining that day, and we weren't expecting poor weather, so we had to kind of improvise on an indie set. And the POC had like very, very limited budget. So it's like, okay, it's raining. What are we gonna do? I guess we'll change the scene to like be underneath this gas station instead of like out in a field. You know, we're like in this abandoned gas station, and he's sitting here with like his gun, and we're trying to get him to pay attention. So we just tell him to pretend to shoot all the cars riding by. And it's like, the sound is terrible at that point, because they're just like thousands of cars in this country road just like zooming by in these emotional moments. It was just kind of like a funny moment. But our editor, Zach Davenport, does an amazing job of finding these beats that are usable with a non-actor. Jaden, he did a really, really good job. And he looks the part. We really wanted him to be mixed ethnicity and have this kind of like disheveled appearance and things. So he was just so wonderful. We learned a lesson in the first scene. His character's drinking like an orange soda. And after like the third and a half soda, this kid went absolutely nuts.
He just like started talking about all the things he wanted to eat. He was just like, I'm a monster. I'm going to eat. What did he say?
I like to eat snakes. I eat weird things. And he just started just saying absurd things.
Obviously, she's having like an emotional actor moment with Mackenzie, and Jaden's just there sipping his soda, very like, like just like looking at them, giving them the most maniacal looks, and he'll just be like, I like snakes. And we're like, not in the script. Not in the script.
Remember your line. Your line is Grammy in heaven? And he's like, I like snakes. And he's just like being a child. He's being 4 years old. It was so funny, you guys. I think you probably got footage of just my eyeballs being like, I can't believe this is real. I cannot believe we're doing this right now. He was so entertaining and wonderful. He was amazing. It was so funny. But I imagine Carla probably has these like similar reactions. She's never been around a 5-year-old nephew. She's never had one. And all of a sudden he's just there in the kitchen and she's shocked.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be able to kind of like use that as an actor, and he totally shocked me as a human, as a person, as a producer on the project. I was like, this child we've never met. We cast him from a photo. He has 2 lines. It was like not really a big thing. And he was a personality. That kid was awesome.
And we apparently he eats snakes. So
yeah. He likes to eat snakes.
It's true. And soda. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was just gonna say, kind of off, topic with the plot and whatever. Being that you two are in the industry, on the opposite side, did you look to anyone that you work with before, or ask questions, or did it make it, did you have any plans on, casting someone you work with before, or like, did that make it any easier, or did it make it more difficult, or how'd that work, being, taking a step from, being in front of the camera to now behind the camera and everything? Like, did it make it any easier, or?
Definitely. It's really nice to work with people that you know. I think that was a big reason why Hayden was definitely right for that part. And then Mackenzie and her callback just took direction really well. That's something that I like to look for, because I'm definitely like an actor's director, in the sense that where I want to get in there and have a conversation with you about what's going on, and kind of use ways to pull things out of people that maybe aren't just like saying like, be sadder, you know what I mean? Or something like that. I like to like get in there with someone and kind of figure out an actor's method, because every actor has a different way that they approach their character and a way that they relate to what's going on. And so that's a big thing as a director to know, is like to study. I think all directors, even if you don't want to be an actor, should take an acting class so that they can understand the different methodologies that actors use to explore characters, so that they can pinpoint and identify when an actor says, this is how I'm thinking about it. You can pinpoint and say, oh, this is how I can talk to them about the character now. This is how I should, because everyone is so different. And like Hayden is very method. If he's not on set, he's off somewhere reading, or he's like just being in character. And I think Kristi's really good at kind of going back and forth, and that's just been the nature of how we operate. But I know on when we actually shoot the feature, she's not going to have to wear all the hats she always wears. So like giving her time to like be able to do that and have character moments is going to be important for us. But just how I think communication, especially as like director to actor, is really important. So in Mackenzie's callback, when I gave her an adjustment after we did the scene one time, which was, I said, just this time, just listen to Kristi. I want you to not think about anything else. Don't worry that I'm like holding a camera in your face. Don't worry about like anything else. I want you to just listen to her. I don't care if you get the lines wrong. You can improvise around it. Well, it's just an audition, but I want to see you listening to her, like really, really listening. And she did it like right away. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that, this is great, because you kind of like pull that performance that you want to see out of someone, and it's not laborious. Like that's a big thing. I think it's like a trust. And I'm mostly speaking like director to actor. You might have some thoughts as like actor to actor, but like knowing that when like the way I speak director resonates with the way an actor hears it is really important, I think. And like having a team around you, your crew is everything. Cinematographer who can, like Nick True, our cinematographer, understood the aesthetic that we were going for right away.
He actually saw the short film and approached Erika and myself about being our DP on the feature it was probably like in the spring or the beginning of the summer. It was really sweet. He came into our office and he kind of pitched himself to us, and we've had our eyes on him as a DP for a while. He's really, really talented, but to know that someone saw the short film and the potential that it could be, and was really emotionally compelled to want to be a part of the feature, made it feel real in a way where it wasn't just us that cared about the movie. Nick was the first creative that signed on to the project. So he's been with us since the beginning of Lorelei, coming into fruition. And to kind of expand on Tony's question, it's been the whole process, not just the acting, directing part. Erika's a natural director. She's been doing that since the moment I met her. I don't know if you guys know this, but we met in 2000, I guess over email in 2014, but then in person in 2015 in January. So we're coming up on our like 5-year anniversary of meeting on the set of her very first short film that she was directing and that she wrote. And I acted in it. It's called 33 North 77 West. And I auditioned via, like a videotape, and she cast me and we met on set. And that was the start of our friendship. And I mean, Erika was the maid of honor in my wedding
anecdote.
this week. I didn't get married this week. This year.
Josh anecdote about pieces of talent.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So at that point, a friend of ours, Josh Prindeville, he and I had met. He's in the short film that Kristi is talking about, and we had been getting together for the past like 6 months before we made this short film to make
in 2015.
Back in 2014. Yeah. And we had been, because he was planning to move to LA and as an actor and was really interested in horror. So we were just getting together on weekends and just making horror short films. I'm sure they exist somewhere in the world. But
I would totally be down to see him.
I died in a bathtub in full of blood, and there was but it was all in his house, just us and a couple of it was actors making a movie. So whoever wasn't on camera would be the cinematographer, and everyone, but it was very dedicated with the way the special effects and things like that. You know, it was when someone had to die, it was you wanted to do it well. So we took a lot of time with our dying, and we took it very seriously.
I wasn't a part of these, but I was lurking over in the corner.
But that was probably times when you were still were you circulating down of pieces of talent, or were you just
it was right before the tour when I met you.
So Josh knew of
all these guys.
Because
I met you. Yeah.
So Josh knew of the guy I was making horror shorts with, knew of Kristi because of Pieces of Talent. And when she auditioned for our short film, he had a humble moment where he was like, I can't act with Kristi Ray. She's in Pieces of Talent. He out because he had to act opposite her in the short film. And I was like, Josh, she is auditioning. It means she wants to be a part of it. I think it's gonna be okay. And he had a whole starstruck moment where he was like, I can't act with Kristi Ray. And it was really, really funny. Because
I totally get it. I totally understand though, because it legit Pieces of Talent was my favorite film of that year when it was released, 2015, right? Is when it was released.
I think that's the year.
I think
right after Erika, then we went on tour with the film to all the horror cons.
Yeah.
And we met
and then, same deal. I legit Leo and I were driving to New Jersey, and we at first we weren't even going to go to that con, and then we found out you guys were going to be there. So I'm we have to go.
Oh my!
And then I was and then I don't know, it's one of those things that'll go down. It's in my memory. There's certain con experiences that I'll never forget.
I'll never forget it. I remember seeing you. I chased you to the bathroom, and it was a whole thing. And I was like, "Get it, you're real!" And I cried. And
you're you're giant. And I'm like, thanks.
I was so starstruck by you and Leo. You were so tall, and I was just. I have always had just such a love for both of you. You're just so.
I mean, it's legit. It's up there with Kane Hodder and multiple Felissa Rose experiences, but. Big ones where someone will recognize me, someone will be like, hey man, what's going on? And it's oh, you're Bill Moseley. This is crazy. So it's up there. I'm just letting you know. I was starstruck as well. So that's awesome. Right.
Yeah, you guys came home. I think it was, I don't know if it was from that one or from another con. And you're like, Wolfie, Leo's like, Wolfie, I'm going to send you something. And he sent me this thing with Joe Stauffer and Kristi doing this weird little rap about. Do you remember this at all, Kristi?
Maybe. Keep talking. Wow, there's so many things. You were rapping?
Was it the one with because I think you guys were walking through the con and he had a gimbal or something, and he was you were doing some weird musical thing where people were dancing and stuff.
Something like that, yeah.
Was it Monster Mania? It was a long time ago. Do you remember Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
We were going to that.
I definitely remember that. My first and only time doing
Same with Leo. He had never.
Oh yeah. I didn't make it through the whole thing. I feel
neither did Leo. There was a guy going.
Tired. It was 2 a.m.
There was a guy dressed up like Frankenfurter that was going seat to seat, and Leo was like, "I'm getting out of here," and he's just it's all right.
I did a couple things with them, and they I was like, I don't know what to do, and Leo and Kevin.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it was really. I miss. Yeah. I did a live stream a couple of weeks, maybe a week and a half ago, just talking about. I was actually giving away some exclusive merch from Pieces of Talent, and this really sweet fan, Rodney, who lives in Western North Carolina. I didn't have my own copy of the movie for some reason. I know you all probably have
multiple.
I got like 6.
Yeah,
So.
I have multiple.
I just like didn't end up with one for some reason. And I remember saying something about it, and he ended up sending me like a little care package, and he gave me a DVD, like Blu-ray, and then I got one of the original Watch Me tapes, and he gave me the movie on VHS, which was really sweet. And so in return, I felt like I needed to give Rodney something, and I have this hat box. What's really fun is the hat box is actually in Lorelei. There's a still where I'm like looking, and I'm like wearing this bra, and I'm like sitting with like a pile of stuff. The hat box with all the things is in this still. So I like put a lot of pieces of talent Easter eggs into Lorelei, the proof of concept just for the funsies. Yes, this. So in this box here that you can't see because it's absconded in the shadows, there's some sides, some like original sides from the audition I did for Charlotte. And I've been saving them for like a really special, perfect person. And Rodney being so generous to me, I decided to like mail them to him.
That's awesome.
I don't know what I'm rambling about, but I was going live to like talk about how wonderful Rodney was, and then that I was like sending this thing and just kind of talking about the con experience in general and how 2020 has been such a year of like really missing connection with people.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky. Like we're kind of in an isolation bubble. We see each other daily and we work together. So our husbands are like best buds, and we're just always in this little like group. So we get to see each other. It doesn't always feel like I'm like lonely, but I think if we didn't live 5 minutes away from each other,
honestly,
who would I hang out with all the time?
I was walking downtown Wilmington on the river boardwalk that we have here, and there's a convention center that sits like right next to the water. And I literally had a moment where I was just like there staring at it, and I was like, I miss cons. I was just staring at an empty convention center, and I was like sitting there, and I was like, I miss people.
Remember when
being in a crowded place together?
And we like met all the Stranger Kids people.
Yeah.
We were there promoting a family possessions.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun. You guys like con life. It's really not our scene because we like wear sundresses and we don't really fit in, but we love that. It's so fun to be like the weird fairy child of the con that like doesn't really.
But you're accepted, Adam. So that's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, I have this from the.
I have 2 of them. I have 2 of them. I have 2 Watch Me tapes. I have a bobblehead. I have a Blu-ray, and I've given away multiple DVDs.
That's so cool.
Pieces of Talent and Circus of the Dead. Like I'll tell people about it, and they're like, I've never heard of it. And like, then I'll bring it to a con, and the next time I know I'm going to see them, and I'll just like hand it to them. I've done that multiple times.
Yeah, I was a viewer of the whole Dorkening or whatever. I got a signed picture from you. I was like, oh, this is a cool, like, I mean, I would win like every week from then on in.
Yeah. That's why we had him on. That's why we brought him on, is because he kept winning, and we just like, all right, we need
mega Dorkening.
Yeah, I remember I got hold. That's way back when I was doing like a lot of reviews for my channel.
Yeah.
And
I got a review copy too from Joe.
I got a review copy from Joe, and it turned out that it was the rare 2-disc set, and it was signed by him. You know.
Charlotte's shirt in the proof of concept image.
Well, I thought it wasn't the
beer bottle. Nobody saw it.
Well, it didn't. I thought
a really fun thing to share about that shirt.
Wasn't it? It's offensive a little bit, right?
Yeah. There it is.
What happens?
Do you see it?
Does it say shit happens?
Only mega fans would know. Channing noticed. One person noticed. Channing Wilson.
This shirt she's wearing has been an Easter egg for multiple things because I wore it in Family Possessions.
So Charlotte wore it in her audition for at the beginning of Pieces of Talent, and then she wears it throughout the movie. It's like her shirt that she wears. And then when Erika got cast in Tommy Fairclough's first feature with her called Family Possessions, her character called Saggy Maggie wore that shirt under her overalls for the whole movie. And then we brought it back for Lorelei, and it literally just like stays in this chest of movie memorabilia. I have like this random thing, and our friend Channing, he moved to New York and he's a filmmaker there now, but he saw the still when we released it on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and he said, how do you still have that shirt? A, he's seen it in all these movies, but B, he was there when me, Kristi Ray, like received the shirt from this random ass band in this like tiny little house show in Greenville, North Carolina in 2008 or something.
What
and they
did it say?
throwing t-shirts out to the crowd, and I got this shirt, and Channing was like playing bass in the band, and he's like, why do you still have that shirt? And I'm like, it's in every movie I'm ever in. Anytime I can wear it, I like bring that shirt out. It's gonna carry it. I'm gonna carry it through like all of the movies and find a way to string these characters together, which is
until one thread is holding it together.
Yeah. Does it say shit happens or am I wrong?
What did you say?
What does the shirt say?
The shirt says the shot downs.
Oh, see, I thought like looking here because you're where your arm, like I thought it said shit happens.
It
So
says
like,
the shot downs. So it's like some
That would be
band
funny for
from
that
North
scene.
Carolina, right? It's very true. Shit does happen. It's a band from North Carolina. I don't think they're a band anymore.
what kind of band were they?
They were this insane, like screamy metal, kind of like exciting punk band that was just like noise. You know, it was
Yeah.
one of those bands where you show up to the house show. It's like in a trap house, and it's really cold outside, and they've got the oven open, blasting on broil to try to like heat the room, you know, and like the ceiling's falling down and everyone's moshing, and I'm like, why am I there? I'm not really sure. I'm here with my friend Channing. He's playing bass in the opening band, but we're like there in this weird mosh pit, like pre-COVID. You're like sweating all over people and
Yeah.
throwing out t-shirts, and I got one and I saved it, and I decided like Charlotte would definitely wear this. I wore it for my audition for Pieces of Talent. Like it's been with me since I was 17, and like,
Wow.
now it's Carla's shirt. Like, of course
Awesome.
she wears that shirt. It's really fun.
I'm a bass player too. I just
I should be in charge of things like that. You know?
I see it behind you.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah. I've been playing since I was in 7th grade. And I'm in my 40s, so that's a long time. Actually, the bad music at the beginning is me. All the stupid music. Yeah, it's horrible. Anyways, so we should probably start wrapping things up. But first off, you mentioned your husband.
Talk to you guys forever.
Yeah, well, as soon as we're done, we can hit end broadcast and we can continue to speak. But you guys had a good year in the sense of getting married and getting a house and all this other stuff. So that's huge. So congrats to both of you. You're both married, or Eric, are you engaged?
Engaged.
Okay. All right.
Eric was married basically 1 year to the day after Cody and I sealed the deal. So she's getting married, like we got married the 4th of October, and she's getting married the 2nd of October in the coming year. So
Is there any
big celebration month for the rest of our lives? Our birthdays are both in October, and like it'll just be the year or the month of all the good things.
October's the bomb. I love October.
So do I. It's my favorite month other than November, because November is my birthday and it's also my anniversary, November 1st. So everything, we started dating on November 1st. We got engaged on November 1st. We got married on November 1st. That was all on purpose so I wouldn't forget.
Oh,
yeah.
And always right after Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good day.
So that way we can still pass out candy and do Halloween stuff, and then the day after. It's a good time.
How about that full moon this year?
I've been in the house. I didn't see it.
You didn't see it on Halloween?
No.
It
I was
insane.
impressed.
We were literally like, we had just wrapped our POC and we were howling at the moon. We went outside and we're like, oh, like it was some crazy energy.
Wolfie heard it.
Yeah, Wolfie's like,
it was big. It was big for us.
oh, you were the other people. Okay, I can hear that. But anyways, we are a little over an hour, so we do have to wrap things up. So, so where can people find more information about Lorelei and Honeyhead Films, and you guys, you know, your fans, where they can follow you?
Definitely 100%. Please follow the film Lorelei Film. It's spelled. I'll spell it for you. I'll let Erika spell it for you, just so I don't get it wrong because I'm a little bit dyslexic. Tell me about the Instagram first.
We have an Instagram for Lorelei. It's just at Lorelei Film, and so we would love for you to follow us. We're going to be introducing all of our amazing crew. We're going to be showing exclusive stills. We occasionally pepper in some kind of unseen footage from the proof of concept. So things that won't end up in the proof of concept sometimes get kind of sprinkled into our story, so they only remain for a day. So we like to kind of make it feel exciting in that way. And Lorelei is spelled Lorelei. So for everyone,
there's also a website, loreleifilm.com, LORELEIFILM.com. I do know how to spell
and
it.
honeyheadfilms.com. If you wanna check out what we're doing, and you can always follow us at Honeyhead Films. And
that's us here.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram and a Facebook. We're really active on both.
Nice.
And we'd love to hear from you.
100%.
Seriously, it's a weird time. Anytime people reach out, it's always really exciting.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
And Kristi Ray, and my personal Instagram is Kristi Ray of Sunshine, KRISTIRAY of Sunshine, and Erika is Erika.Arley.
Erika with a K, .Arley, my middle name, my great-grandpa's name.
Oh, nice.
Probably signing off Facebook after the new year. So you got to say, sayonara, see ya later, see ya. She's done with the Facebook, but she'll be
I kind of wish I was too, but I can't.
It's like not a good time for me to sign off on all that, but we're getting really bored of it. But
yeah.
Happy to connect with all of you anytime on our pages. And thank you for listening and tuning in. And if you're, only hearing, thank you for listening.
Thank you for lending your ears.
Yeah.
All right. So Wolfie, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, The 13th Wolfman, Twitter at The 13th Wolfman, Tumblr, 13th Wolfman, The Prowl, doing the Wicked Horror reviews with Kev. And you can catch me every other week here on The Wicked Horror Show.
Cool. Tony?
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter, which I hardly ever use. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on The Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday. Kevin?
You can find me A-Knuckle on Twitter and Instagram. I barely use Twitter. But also you can subscribe to our Facebook if you're listening. Go over to our Facebook and follow us there, and our YouTube, and you can watch the show live, and active chat room and everything. And also part of Secret Underground Hideout and Black and White Fright, all of which are on the Dorkening Podcast Network. So go check out all
What about the Teespring too? We should talk about
there's a new link on our Facebook page for our Teespring if you want, or actually no, it's TeePublic. If you want to go support us, buy some T-shirts or maybe some masks or a tapestry of some
There's
sort.
some pretty cool T-shirts, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. So anyways, thanks again. I go back right as you're taking a big slug. So that's good.
Water.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's water. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and have a good night. Bye.